without Medicaid, we would never be healthy. And for us, it's not even like...
Without Medicaid, we would never be healthy. Says a woman of high calorie, right? A woman of high calorie who her kids, she claims, are autistic, right? She's living off the government. She's on all of these drugs that are being paid for by taxpayers, but yet she's claiming that without the government, she would never be healthy. But yet she's living off the government, and I cannot sit here and tell you with a straight face that I believe that this woman is healthy. I went over this before, and I'll go over it again. Because these statistics really show you how much of a trap this is, okay? 44% of SNAP recipients are obese, okay? If you're living on SNAP, if you're living on food stamps, you're likely also to be on Medicaid, which is for low-income people. If you're obese and you're on Medicaid, then you're likely to drive up the cost of health care for everybody else because you have to go to the hospital and go to the doctor a lot due to the fact that you are obese, right? And you have zero incentive to get off of it or to, I don't know, try to pull yourself up because the government is subsidizing your life, right? For you to be able to eat in excess of calories and then to turn around and to get government subsidized healthcare that everybody else has to pay for. But yet this individual doesn't think that they should have to work, right? I should have to get a job, right? We're low income. We live off one income. Instead of going out there and getting a job so that you don't have to live off the government. So that taxpayers don't have to subsidize your life. Because clearly we're over subsidizing here, right? Especially when you talk about the food, okay? And this is why, again, when people talk about this stuff and people say, oh, you're being cruel, you're being mean. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. Our poor in the United States of America, we are obese. There's no way that you can say that people are starving in this country when the poor, the so-called starving, they're obese, right? There's an excess of calories, right? And the crazy part about it is, like, it's gotten to the point where it's like entitlement. I'll never forget this happening to me. This is a story that stuck with me for a long time. When I was a teenager, me and my dad would go to the gym together at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? We go to the gym or whatever. Okay. Now, one time we went to the gym. After the gym, we went to the grocery store, went to Harris Teeter after the gym. And some homeless black dude was outside of the store. And he was asking my dad for some food, right? And, my dad was like, okay, I'm going to go in the store and I'm going to get you a banana, right? Since you're hungry, I'm going to get you a banana. The homeless dude is like, I'm not a monkey. I don't want no banana. I want McDonald's, right? And my dad is like, well, if you're poor and you're hungry and you're homeless, right? And you say you need food, why are you denying the banana, right? Like, you should be happy that I'm getting you anything, right? That I'm giving you a banana, right? Because you're supposed to be poor and you're supposed to be hungry. You're supposed to be starving, but yet you're so entitled that you think that you should just get McDonald's, right? Oh, no, I don't want a banana. I'm going to refuse food even though you're starving because they want McDonald's. That is the poor in the United States of America, right? That is the starving in the United States of America. And I'm not saying there aren't people who are legitimately poor or legitimately starving. I'm just saying that only in America are the poor starving and also obese at the same time, right? Which, again, says that there's a disconnect, okay? There's a disconnect, okay? So, it's just one of those things that I think we got to have real conversations about this stuff. And people don't want to have real conversations because people don't want to tell the truth about the fact that you have people who become entitled. They're taking advantage of the system. They're making up excuses for why they can't work. They're turning around talking about they're starving, they need food stamps, right? And the government cutting food stamps means they're not going to survive, but yet they're obese. How does that work? How does that work? Anyways,